2 or more. Now we're only going to talk, I spelled more wrong. We're only going to talk about 2 equations in this class, but you could have 3 or 4 equations. But for this class, you're only going to have 2. So a system of equation is 2 equations. Okay, and we are going to have to find the x and y value that works for both of them. So we are going to have to look for the solution to both of the equations. And then the second part, what is the system? What is the solution to a system of equation? It is the ordered pair. So it's the ordered pair x comma y. That's what an ordered pair. We've dealt with that a lot. So it is the ordered pair x comma y where the lines intersect. So we are intersect. Okay? So we are looking for the ordered pair, x and a y value. I need an x and a y value for part of my answer. We'll talk more about this next week. But to solve a system, you have to have an x and a y value. Today, Sheldon, just take your headphones off. Thank you. So for today, we are looking at the x and the y value. You need an x and a y value when you do systems. That you need both of those. So it is the x and y value, the ordered pair, where the lines intersect. Intersect is a fancy word for what? Cross. So when I say intersect, all I mean is where the lines cross. Now there are 3 types of solutions I could get when I'm looking at a system. So I'm going to have 2 lines, and there are 3 types of solutions. The first one is one solution. This is kind of probably the most common. If I get one solution, that means that they cross, the lines intersect at one point. So if I get one solution, which is probably the most common you're going to have, is the lines cross, they intersect at one point. So this is created by intersecting lines. If 2 lines intersect, if they cross, they're going to cross at one point, and that is my solution. The second option is created by parallel lines. Where do parallel lines cross? Never. So if they don't cross anywhere, there are no solutions. So if my solution is where the lines cross, well, if they're parallel and don't cross anywhere, then it is no solution. This is the symbol for no solution. So instead of writing no solution, you can put a circle with a line through it. That means no solution. So if you have 2 parallel lines, they do not cross, so there is no solution, because the solution is where they cross. The third one is, what if I have identical lines? What if I have 2 lines that are right on top of each other? Infinitely many, or all solutions. So you can put all solutions, or infinitely many, and you can use this symbol. So the kind of the sideways 8. So if they cross at one point, there's one solution. If they don't cross at all, it's no solution. And if they cross one on top of each other, they cross at all the points, so it's all solutions. So you can either write it out or use those symbols. So those are the 3 choices we have: one solution, no solution, or all solutions. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay, all we are going to do today is graph 2 lines and see where they cross. This is basically 98.2% review. You're going to graph 2 lines. The only thing we're going to do different is see where the point they intersect at is. Okay? Solve by graphing. We are going to make sure each equation is in y equals mx plus b form. We want to solve for y like we have done numerous times. So we want to make sure all equations are solved for y. That is the easiest way to graph. So we did this in Unit 4. And we did this actually a little bit in Unit 5. So we want to solve for y, graph each line, and see where they cross. You guys can all do this. This is mostly review. Okay, let's look at number 2 real quick. If I look at number 2, what is nice about number 2? Yeah, they're both in y equals mx plus b form. They're both solved for y. Why is this a system of equations? Why is 2 a system of equations? What's the definition of a system of equations? Are there two or more equations? Yes, so this is a system. All a system is two equations for this class. It could be more, but for this class it'll be two. So we're going to go through and we're going to graph each line. So this first line, the top line, we can identify the slope and the y-intercept. What is the y-intercept for the first line? 9. What's the slope? 1/2. If they're already y equals, then graphing it is easy. Y-intercept is the number not with x. The slope is in front of x. What do I graph first, the y-intercept or the slope? Okay, how do I graph a y-intercept of 9? You go 9 on where? Up 9, the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right there. So you put a 9 on the y-axis. It's the y-intercept. My slope is 1/2. How do I get my next point if my slope is 1/2? Up 1, right 2. Okay, my slope is positive. My line should be going uphill. Now, you can draw your line. However, we want our lines to be as straight as possible. So I would get a few more points. When you're doing systems with lines, I would get a few more points. How could I get a couple more points? I can't go up 1, right 2 anymore. Down, left 2. Down 1, left 2. Down 1, left 2. So for systems, you want your lines to be as straight as possible. So I would go ahead and graph a few more points using your slope, just to make sure your lines are pretty straight. And that's your first line. This is exactly what we have done a few times already. So this is nothing new. Any questions on this? This is a system. So we're going to look at my second line.
And the line on the bottom. You can find the slope and the y-intercept. Michael, keep your head up, please. Y-intercept is what? 6. The slope is? -1. You can put -1 over 1 if that's helpful. My slope is negative, so my line should be doing what? Going down. Good. How do I start graphing this line? Up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the y-intercept. How do I get my other points? Down 1, right 1, because it's a negative. So if down is my negative, I have to do a positive 1. So down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Let's get a few other points. Instead of going down 1, right 1, I can go up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. And so when you draw that line, we want to get some points, a good number of points, so we can draw it, because we want the line to be as straight as possible. That's why we're using rulers. Normally I don't care, but I want to see the point where they intersect. That is my answer. You have to write down the point. So what point do they intersect at? What is this point right here? -2. You go left 2, you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So -2, 8 is your answer. I need to see an ordered pair. You have to have the ordered pair where they cross. Can we do this? I think so. Okay, we're going to look at a couple more. I'm only going to do one section of notes today. So we're going to look at a couple more, and then we're going to start the homework. Okay, let's look at one like 7. We'll do 7. Let's look at 7. Okay, 7's an issue because what form are my equations in for 7? They're in standard form. Good. They're in standard form, so we want to get them in slope-intercept form first. So we're going to do the first one down here. So I have 3x minus 5y equals -35. And we are going to solve this equation for x. Or sorry, for y. Duh. I'm going to solve this equation for y. So what do I do first to solve this equation for y? Subtract 3x. I need to get rid of the 3x part. It's furthest away. So I'm going to subtract 3x. So I have -5y equals what?
Negative 35 minus 3x. Okay, this should look familiar to you. We've done this before lots of times. Divide by negative 5. Make sure you take the negative with the 5. Divide by negative 5. Y is equal to, and then you go through and you can divide. Negative 35 divided by negative 5. 7. Negative 3 over a negative 5. Positive, because it's a negative over negative, just leave it the fraction, 3/5. So if it doesn't divide out, keep it a reduced fraction, throw 3/5. Any questions on that part? Okay, we need to find the slope and the y-intercept. Slope is positive 3/5. My line should be going uphill because it's positive. This y-intercept is 7. Okay, how do I start graphing this? Up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put a point. How do I get my next point? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So up 3, right 5. It is positive. So I go up and right. And my line's going uphill. Now I want to get another point. I can't go up 3, right 5, but I can go 1, 2, 3, left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would get more than 2 points with these. And draw your line. Because the more points you have, the straighter your line will be. Okay? So first one. This is a system, so I have 2 equations. So I know these take a little bit of work, but you've done all this stuff before. The only difference is you're looking to see where they cross. Okay, 2x plus y equals negative 6. It's in standard form. Let's work with that equation. One step I can solve for y. So what is the one step to get y alone? Minus 2x. Good. Minus 2x, minus 2x. Y equals negative 6 minus 2x. And now y is alone. So I have to divide on this one because there's no number in front of y. Slope. Slope. Negative 2 over 1. X is not part of the slope, so negative 2 over 1. Y-intercept? Negative 6. Good. My slope is negative, so I'm thinking in the back of my mind, my line should be going downhill. Okay, how do I graph this one? Yep, always do your y-intercept. So how do I do a y-intercept of negative 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a point. Down 2, right 1. Down 2, right 1. Let's get some other points. I can also go up 2, left 1. Up 2, left 1. So I would get more than 2 points with these because I want to make sure they're really good lines. And if I graph the line, we want to look at the point where they intersect. You might have to do a little bit of estimating, but you can get a pretty close. If your lines are straight, get pretty close. Right here is where it looks like they cross. You might have to estimate a little bit. And what is that point where they cross? Negative 5, comma 4. So negative 5, 4 is your answer. You need to have the ordered pair where they cross. That is your answer. Okay, any questions on that? Okay. 2 more, I don't know. 2 more. Let's look at 6 real quick. Let's look at 6. Okay, if I look at 6, the top equation is already y equals. So if I look, guys, keep your head up. We're not doing a ton of notes today. Keep your head up. Come on. Isaac, head up. Thank you. If I look at 6, 6 is already y equals. So what is the slope and the y-intercept for 6? Slope? 1 over 1. Slope, there's no number in front of x, so it's 1 over 1. My y-intercept is 5. So let's get the top line graphed. It's already y equals, so not any work. Y-intercept of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a point. How do I get to the next point? up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, get more than 2 points. Which some of you guys did anyway, but, and then draw your line. Okay, bottom equation, x minus y equals 2. Subtract x. We need to get y alone, so we subtract x. There's nothing in front of x, so it's a positive, so we subtract it. Negative y, don't forget the negative in front of the y. Negative y equals 2 minus x. Is y alone? Nope. How do I get y alone? Divide by negative 1. So y equals negative 2 plus x. Good. So again, this is all review. This should look familiar to you. I think this lesson should go pretty well. My slope is 1 over 1. My y-intercept is negative 2. Okay, y-intercept negative 2. We're going to go down 2, put a point. How do I get my other points? Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. So we notice my lines are parallel. How could I have noticed they were parallel without graphing them? They have the same slope. Remember, parallel lines have the same slope. If they are parallel, do they intersect anywhere? No. So it is no solution. So you can either write no solution or you can draw that symbol. There's no ordered pair where they cross. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and give you time to start the homework real quick. X equals negative 2. What type of line is x equals negative 2? Vertical. Y equals a number is horizontal. Just a quick refresher on that. Okay. So go ahead and put these to the side. Let me get you the homework. A little more than normal because we just